J-Roll Electronic Productions, baby.
The View falsely claims Republicans outlawed teaching about MLK Jr. in schools. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out, and subscribe if you're not subscribing already. And check out our Patreon. The link is in the description where we talk about stuff that we can't talk about here on YouTube. All right. The Harpies at The View pushed more falsehoods during their show on Monday, claiming that teaching about Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy is now outlawed in schools. Now, we know that's not true. We know they just outlawed critical race theory and different educational stuff pertaining to that, because they actually teach that what Martin Luther King was teaching is not true. They basically they want to judge people by their color of their skin, not the content of their character. The exact opposite of what Martin Luther King been talking about. So it makes absolutely no sense what they've been saying. But, and I quote, they said, "And I know that his legacy, MLK Jr.'s legacy, is under direct attack now." I mean, well, it is under attack, but it's under attack from the left, not Republicans. But the article goes on to say that his legacy, she goes on to say that his legacy of voting rights, and that saddens me, and I'm frustrated by that. Co-host Sonny Halston falsely claimed. I mean, it's just ridiculous that they just making this stuff up, where all they're trying to do is sure elections to make sure that people that's supposed to be voting are being counted. The ones that's supposed to be voting. All you got to do is show your ID. I mean, these people are lying, and they know they have to know that they're lying. They have to know it. You can't chalk this up as innocence anymore. This is not innocence. But Holston then falsely asserted that Republicans banned schools from teaching students about MLK Jr. Just lies. She says, "And I know because 9 states, have passed so-called critical race theory legislation. 20 states in our country are passing that kinds of legislation that our children are all over the country that won't learn about Dr. King's work." I mean, just making this up. And she said the work he gave up for his life. Gave his life for. This makes no sense. They are not banning the teachings of Martin Luther King. Be for real. They just making this stuff up so they can get rid of IDing people. Holston went on to claim that Republicans' efforts to pass voter ID laws amount to passing voter suppression laws. This is crazy. Because, like I talked about ad nauseum several times, most states, if you can't afford an ID, you can get the ID for free. But and she goes on to say that, and then I think about the fact that 19 states have passed voter suppression laws, that 34 additional that have passed 34 laws to suppress the vote, she said. And so I'm reminded on a day like today that we have so much more work to do, and I think we're up to the task, and I hope that voting rights laws will be strengthened. That is exactly what the Republicans are doing. They're trying to strengthen the voter laws. They're trying to make it that only people that are legal citizens of this country can vote. I don't see anything wrong with that, and the majority of Americans don't see anything wrong with that. We've seen the polls that show like upwards towards 80% of American people have no problem with voter ID laws. So these people that's pushing this stuff are actually in the minority, but pretending that they are the majority because they're speaking the loudest. In the same segment, co-host Whoopi Goldberg ignorantly claimed Democrats fought for civil rights during the civil rights movement, when in fact the Democratic Party was historically opposed to civil rights during the period. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that it was passed by Republicans, not Democrats. These people, you can't be this ignorant of history. You can't be this ignorant. They have to know what they're saying. There's no way you didn't Google it or look it up before you made some of these statements. You have to know that the civil rights movement was passed, the Civil Rights Act was passed by Republicans, not Democrats. But she goes on to say, "We fought you before many times, and we'll fight you again." Goldberg said to Republicans. That's true. They did fight. They fight against the Civil Rights Act. And the reality is Republicans in several states have banned the divisive critical race theory from being taught in schools. Critical race theory is diametrically opposite of MLK Jr.'s teaching of freedom and equality under the law. Instead, it promotes the idea that individuals should be judged based on their skin color and equal outcomes must be implemented based on race. And this is what MLK said. He said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they are not judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." And look at what they're pushing right now, where they want you to be judged on your skin color. Not on merit, not on how hard you work, not on what you do, but on your skin color. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out democrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.